Welcome to the course Advanced Database and Security. I am Vinod Chandar, Assistant Professor from the Department of IT, SSNCE, and I will be your course instructor. Since this is an advanced database course, there are some prerequisites. So before we go into the syllabus and the details of the course or the subject, let me give you the list of the prerequisites that are expected out of you. You need to understand the fundamentals of database management systems, and also please do a quick recap of what you have studied in your UG in terms of understanding of relational database concepts and basic SQL commands. So let's move on to the course syllabus. Well, before we look into the course syllabus, let me mention that I have uploaded the syllabus, which includes the textbook references, in the LMS so that you can have a look at it later. Well, the purpose of this video is to actually see the course syllabus and in particular the flow or the order in which I will be handling this particular course. So let's get started. The first is we will be talking about database system architectures, which includes centralized architectures, client-server models, and server system architectures. Then, in continuation of that, we will see what are parallel databases, why they are very relevant in today's life, and what is query and operational parallelism, and how do we design a parallel system. Next, we will talk about distributed databases. We will learn what are distributed databases, its importance, and the applications of it. And also we will try to understand how a distributed data is stored, how transactions are performed, and how concurrencies are maintained. So when we talk about distributed database concurrency, we will also in detail talk about the commit protocols and how these protocols works in order to ensure that concurrency is maintained in distributed database. Also, we will see how different queries are processed in a distributed database system. Remember, distributed database actually involves bringing in together different heterogeneous databases. That is, I mean to say, in many cases, it need not be homogeneous. I mean to say, you can have databases from different vendors combined and working together in a very seamless fashion. So these are called as heterogeneous distributed databases. We will see how heterogeneous distributed database system works, and we will also see what is data integration in terms of heterogeneous distributed databases. Okay, so far we have started with different architectural styles of databases, and we have ended up seeing parallel and distributed database systems. Now we will have a quick recap of what we have learned in UG in terms of relational databases. So we will recollect what we have learned in terms of relational algebra, calculus, SQL commands, recursive queries, and some of the existing popular relational databases. Then, using that, we will see what an active database is. Traditionally, a database is considered passive, which means it does not react to any changes or based on any events that happens within or outside the database. But in reality, you might want a database that reacts to changes within itself or in the near environment. So if you are able to tweak an existing passive database to react to such a change or changes, then we call those databases as active database. So we will take the example of Oracle database and see what an active database typically is. What is this event condition action paradigm? And obviously the syntax and the semantics of these active databases with its current applications. And also we will talk about the principles behind the rules that place in these active databases. And also cover exception handling and error handling. Alright. Next, we will then understand what are the implications or issues if the database is not secure. So why do you need security, and what is security in terms of databases, and what are the basic defense mechanisms that already exist? and how do we access or how do we use access controls to bring in a basic level of security, also how are locks on different objects handled in order to implement security in databases. We will see all this in data security. Next, we will talk about temporal databases, its need, the data types, and how query can be structured for these temporal databases, or how do you actually query such a database. Alright, and we will be taking an example of the TSQL2 flavor to understand how temporal database works. Next is spatial database. Spatial database typically handles geometrical information, and why this database is very important in our day-to-day life. We will try to understand that. So in order to understand the principles of spatial databases, we may have to have a quick recap of the basics of geometry and graph theory before us trying to understand how a spatial data type or relationship or even structure works on it. What kind of access methods we use, and what are the different types of implementation that we can see today in our life. Our next topic is data warehousing. As the database grows or as the enterprise grows, you may have a need for an existing data warehouse. So what is a data warehouse? It collects enterprise information across different systems and places it in it so that you can do analysis, reporting, and other kinds of works. Okay, so why we need data warehousing? We will explore that. What is the architecture of a data warehouse system will also be covered. Alright, then when we hear the word data warehouse, there is one word that keeps repeating everywhere, which is ETL, which is extract, transform, and load. So we will understand what is the significance of this extraction, transformation, and load in terms of data warehouse itself. So this is going to be a very basic introduction of what data warehousing is all about. Next, in today's world, with the size and amount of information that grows or that is exploding, we may not be able to store all the information separately. So this is where we can use cloud-based systems. So we will need to understand how cloud system works and how these data are actually stored in the cloud system. We will also see some basic architectures of cloud storage and cloud data models. The other big buzzword that is happening in the industry today is big data. So we need to understand what is big data and how data has to be stored in these big data storages. So for that, we will first try to understand the different types of data, which is structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. And we will see the different flavors of the unstructured database, or the NoSQL databases as they are called. So in particular, we will explore, or there are 4 key databases that we will be covering. They are key value databases, document databases, columnar databases, and graph databases. Alright, so so far we have seen different data architectures and different flavors of databases. But there are also other flavors of databases which are very specific, or which are very need specific. Some of those are XML databases, web databases, our own personal databases, multimedia databases, geographical databases, genome databases, knowledge based databases, and digital libraries. So what are these databases, and where and how we use them? We will have a flavor of all these different databases, and also we will see these different flavors towards the end of the syllabus. Okay, so this is the syllabus flow, or this is the syllabus for this particular course. advanced databases and security. Also, I have provided, or I will be providing, the links to the edited recorded versions of most of the in-class materials in the LMS for your reference. Okay? So looking forward to see you in the class. Thank you.